Hello everyone, welcome to Python for Data Analysis Lightning Tutorials. I'm Alfred Essa. Today I want to provide a very quick preview of coming attractions of the Pandas library. We'll be using Pandas extensively for data analysis. The goals of this tutorial are to import Pandas and Pylab. We'll read a CSV file. The CSV file contains a list of the most popular baby names in the US for a period starting from 1880 to 2008. Then we'll perform some basic operations on that data set and also perform some plots. All right, so let's get started. I've fired up the IPython notebook, and the first few lines we import Pandas and Pylab libraries, fairly standard Python commands, and should be self-explanatory. Next, we are importing the CSV file, and we're taking the CSV file and storing it into a data frame object. The data frame object is in the Pandas library, and the variable name is called names. So just to verify, I'll issue the command shift return, execute the import, and then also read in the CSV file. Just to verify that everything went okay, I'll type names, hit shift return, and this presents us with metadata about the names object. We can see it's populated by over 250,000 rows. It has columns called year, name, prop, sex, sound X. All right, let's just verify. Let's just take a quick look at the first few records of the data set. And we see that it begins the data set begins in the year 1880, and we have some data that shows us what the data looks like. All right, now the names and data frame objects in general, many of the Python properties, characteristics such as slicing, you can operate on that. So let's take a look at a few rows in the names data set, and the way we can do that is let's use the slice operation and take a look at 3 to 9. So this pulls up, now this is using the index records 3 to 9. All right, now if we wanted to pull subsets of the data across not only rows but columns, we can slice by row and column using the following syntax. And so this pulls up, we're looking at rows 2 to 4 and only columns year and name. All right, now what I want to do is I want to create two data sets based on our original data set. One of the data sets will be called girl names, and then the other one will be called boy names. But a preceding step is we want to do a search and find the sex by girl and then sex by boy. Now if I were to run just this particular command, we're looking in the names sex column and finding all the girls. Now the result of this particular command is a Boolean array, and then we feed that Boolean array into the names data frame object, and this is how we create the particular two data sets that we're interested in. All right, so this should have created two data sets, one associated with boys and another one associated with girls. Let's just verify boy names head, and this shows us that we have boys. To verify, let's look at the record set below, the last 5 records, and that's also the set of boys. All right, now we're going to move on, and what I want to do at this point is create another subset of taking the boys names record set and outputting one called John. We're interested only right now in John, so I'm going to do a search. It will create an array index with all the rows associated with John, and that will allow us to create the John data set. So I'm going to issue that command. Let's take a look at this, John head, and now we have data set, which just should have only the John set of rows. A couple of other things that I'm going to do very, very quickly is at this point I'm only interested in the proportion column and the year column. The John data set, we already know his name is John, so we don't need that. It's redundant. We also know that sex of John is boy. And also soundex is something, it's a phonetic property associated with the name. We're not interested in that point. So I'm going to create a data set that just has the year and proportion column and all the I want to pick up all the rows, and that's what line number 96 is doing. So let me issue that command, and then I'm going to take one other step, and that's to set the index to the year. Now, if you're not getting all this, that's okay. I'll explain in future tutorials each of these steps in more detail. I just want to, this is a preview of how we can take an original data set and very, very quickly using pandas do all kinds of data manipulation. All right, so we've created a data set here that just has John data. Let's verify what that looks like at this point. And so we have now just John, the year and the proportion of births that had the names associated with John. And let's plot that. So what we see, one of the things that we see now here is that it's not the absolute number of babies that were named John, but the overall proportion of names, John names, has declined from the year 1880. So we're going to do exactly the same thing with a couple of other names. I'm going to create a data set that has Mary and also let's plot out Mary. So we see exactly the same pattern. The popularity of the name Mary has also been declining as with John. Now we might at this point form a hypothesis that might be some other names that have become more popular over the years. So I've just as a hypothesis, Chloe is another name. So let's do that, and I've just created a data set that has just Chloe, and let's plot that. And so here's an interesting pattern. We see that the name Chloe had been up until 1990 was fairly not very popular, but huge spike starting year 1990. I'm not sure what happened, and then 2000, and it seems to remain fairly popular even today. All right, so that concludes our look at a quick preview of pandas. We learned how to import pandas in PyLab. We read a CSV file, performed some basic operations. Now the critical thing is the object that we dealt with is called a data frame object in pandas. Just think of it again as a set of rows and columns, but the powerful feature of pandas is that both the rows and the columns are indexed, and we'll be exploring that capability in more detail in subsequent tutorials. And we also did some very quick plots, and very, very quickly we were able to answer some questions, form a hypothesis, and see the overall pattern. So thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.